Hello everybody. I just wanted to kind of point out some stuff today that is not available on my research report. And so the best thing I thought I'd do to share is to actually go through what my students would go through as they went through my action research project this year that I started at the beginning of the semester. So here is after a student would log into the MathXL for School website. I'm going to go ahead and act like a student and say, okay, I'm going to view all my assignments. We've done all these assignments so far. I'm going to go down to the bottom and do this one to show you about what's happening with them. So if I go to question number 3, since I did question number 2 and number 1 already, this kind of shows me what the students would see as a problem. And so everything's online, their assignments and their tests. And here is just basically trying to graph some system of equations and trying to find the solution. So I'm going to click Enlarge to Graph. And I'm going to do this correctly so you can see what it does as immediate feedback. So for the first line, the intercept is 0, the slope is 2, the second line, the intercept is 6, and the slope is -1. And so there's that line. I'm going to mental note that it crosses at 2, 4, so I'm going to save it. And down here, I'm going to check my answer, and it tells me automatically immediate feedback if they got it right or wrong. And there it is. Good job. So I'm going to click OK. And then there are different parts to some of the problems. So since there is a solution, I'm going to click on A and then write down or type in the solution was 2, 4. Oops, 4. And then check the answer again. And it's going to give me that nice work. So there's that immediate feedback right away if they got it correct or not correct. I'm going to do it incorrectly this time. So I'm going to go to the next problem and do this one incorrectly. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the first equation incorrectly. So the intercept is -9. But I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to make the slope +1 this time. So there it is. And I'm going to graph the other line is at -1 and the slope is +1. And so I'm going to save it and then check it, and then it should tell me right away, oop, something's wrong. It says your graph of the equation y equals x minus 1 is correct, but your graph of the equation x equals -x minus 9 is incorrect. So it tells me which one is wrong. So I'm going to click OK, and then I have to redo that problem. So I'm going to click on Enlarge again. So since I know that I made a mistake on this one, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And I'm going to change the dot from here to down here, so that should be correct. And I'm going to save it, but before I do it, I'm going to mental note that it's at -4, -5. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to check it. So it does give you a chance to fix it, which is great. And so it gives you full credit for that part of the question. So click on OK. And then the system solution is at -4, -5, if I remember correctly. So -4, -5, and then check the answer again, and great job, I got full credit. So I wanted to point out up here that as you do these questions, it will tell you your progress. So I did got a 32% so far, 8 out of 25 points. So that's my visible progress bar that I had for my gamification element, and we just saw that immediate feedback just a minute ago. The other thing I wanted to point out in this problem is that students can use the question help. So I'm going to click on question help and say, I have no idea how to do this, so I'm going to give you an example. And so it literally goes and shows you a different problem with hopefully different numbers. Looks like the first equation's a little different, it has -3 instead of +3, but both equations are very similar to the problem that I'm supposed to solve. So I can actually click on here and it'll tell me step by step what to do, how to solve it. So this is one of the other things that I'm trying to have my students learn, is that they can actually get help on their own by viewing examples. So it's kind of like a virtual tutor at all times. And so if you can click through all the different steps, it will tell you what to do. And when they get the gist of it, then they can actually close the window here and work on the problem on their own with their equations. And so let me see if I can click through all of these real quick. And then there's a solution. And then I'm going to go ahead and close it. And I would have a chance to do it myself here. So that is, I think, another invaluable thing that I'm doing with my class, is allowing them to use that question help on any question in the assignment. That does include regular homework assignments as well as tests. They have those options. So they have all these other options as well. Help Me Solve This is actually helps you solve your problem, but the problem with that is that once you get done getting the correct answer, it makes you do a similar problem, so it doesn't really help because you have to redo another problem anyway. So I always suggest my students view an example. But there's all these other resources as well. Watch a video, look at the textbook, use some math tools, a calculator. Ask My Instructor is actually emailing me, but I don't suggest them doing that. And I think you can print the problem if you want to. But anyway, those are the question help that they actually do, and that's a really great way to help the students increase their confidence, I believe. So I think those elements, I think I talked about all of them. So the immediate feedback you actually saw, wrong and right. The visual progress bars is up here. And then the low risk of failure is actually trying to get them to understand that it's okay to get it wrong. I will give them a chance to redo the problem for full credit. So they have unlimited times to get a problem wrong until they get it right. So I'm really trying to change their mindset on math. And it does work, I believe, for a majority of the students. I think some students just aren't motivated to finish and do as good as they can. But that's probably with any student. But I think it has been successful for the most part. If you want to look at the results that I have on my report, you can. But when I compared this year's first quarter grades compared to previous years, I had a larger majority of A's than before and a smaller majority of B's, but that's because there were a lot more A's. It was like 73% A's, 20% B's, and I think about 5% C's. Before it was not like that, so it has increased grades quite a bit. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to be for the rest of the school year, because I am going to do this for the rest of the school year, and we're getting on the end of semester 1 soon, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, sorry, and I'll probably compare myself, I should say, how my semester grades look this year compared to previous years. So that'll be interesting to kind of continue my action research for this year and for several years to come. So I think it's going to take some time to actually make sure that my students change their mindset on learning math. And I think it has been powerful for them, and it is helping them quite a bit. So I'll be answering questions here in a minute. I just wanted to share with you how my students do their assignments and tests online. Thanks.